You might have read the title and thought that this video is about how the supercomputer resembling something like ChatGPT and how that can be dangerous if unchecked, but this is not what the video is about. I understand that now we all have our own personal how, and there really isn't anything that we can do to stop that in almost every facet of life. But throughout watching this movie, all of the long-held, breathtaking shots, the otherworldly camera magic, and watching a movie that looks better than movies like Interstellar in almost every way, despite coming out nearly 50 years before, at the end of it, I was left with a deep feeling of gratitude for humanity. How was a movie like this made in 1968, before CGI, before most modern special effects, and even before the moon landing, able to achieve such a high level of camera work, amazing shot after amazing shot, and delivering one of the most breathtaking movies ever invented? It's only possible due to the talented director and the team that made this film a reality. The creativity that lived within them and the power to express it is one of the most beautiful displays of human will ever seen. If you have no idea what I'm talking about because you haven't seen 2001: A Space Odyssey, I will break it down quickly, and yes, there will obviously be spoilers. A Space Odyssey is about the evolution of humanity. It starts out by showing literally 25 minutes of apes on a barren-looking Earth 4 million years prior that eventually discover an undescribable monolithic statue that they just have no idea what it means. After they find this statue, then they figure out weapons, and this is where you realize that this is about the building blocks of human society being shown to us. After one of the monkeys throws a bone into the air, we're met with this harsh transition 4 million years in the future, showing hyper-advanced spacecraft, and the bulk of our movie lives here, where our main characters Dave and Frank are aboard a spacecraft heading to Jupiter with an onboard supercomputer AI named Hal. But unfortunately for them, they notice the mistake that Hal made and have a private conversation about disconnecting him that they think Hal can't hear. But Hal can make out this conversation through reading their lips. So he goes rogue and attempts to kill Dave and Frank in order to complete the mission, because that is all he is programmed to do, is complete the mission. Dave is moments away from saving Frank from Hal's plan to kill him, but Hal locked down the ship and won't let him return. This is where he delivers us one of the most iconic lines in all of cinema.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Dave is able to find an alternate way to get back into the ship, but he has to let Frank drift off into space to his painful death, and is able to reboard the ship due to an emergency airlock. He then shuts down Hal by removing his memory disks one by one, and we get the only scene that I've ever watched and actually felt bad for a computer. It genuinely makes you feel awful, essentially watching Dave lobotomize Hal in real time.
I can feel it. My mind is going.
Dave regains control of the ship and finishes his expedition to Jupiter to find the monolith, and when he does, he gets transported to an extraterrestrial world where all that really exists is light and energy, not beings that are fully formed. I loved this direction of not having weird looking green aliens and it just being these crazy patterns of light and energy. And there they make Dave live out the rest of his days in a small, strange room so they can watch him like an animal until he's reborn as a higher being. Now that's basically a breakdown of 2001: A Space Odyssey. Now overall as a movie, I really did enjoy this experience, but I would be lying if I said the pacing was not so brutally slow, even for such an old movie. So if you are going to watch it, which I highly recommend, you should know going in that a lot of the shots get held for a very long time, and if you are not ready to put your attention span to the test, then you most likely will not like it, and the ending will definitely confuse you. But what's my point with this whole video? My point is that if this was possible so long ago and still so influential to this day, why would you ever think that a computer can and should try to make movies that even have half of the feel as this masterpiece? The reason it's so impressive is not because the idea was dreamed up, put into prompts, and spat back out in a jumbled mess, but that it was dreamed up by humans, then executed by humans in a marveling showcase. Today, you could generate a similar movie to this with AI that looks as incredible and as impactful, but all it would have done is stolen every aspect of it and spit it out with zero effort. The reason that I say AI does not have a place in art is because of works like this and all the others that fall short, allowing the best movies to rise to the top and stay in conversation nearly 60 years later. I said it before and I'll say it again. If everybody's super, nobody is. You might argue that the next Kubrick is Among Us and he just hasn't gotten the budget or recognition that he deserves. And to that I say, I don't care. That's the beauty of it. If you work hard enough building pedigree and showing your talent with the resources made available to you, the rest is up to the universe. Maybe you don't get chosen, but maybe you weren't that good. That is the reason why this is such an impressive feat that was made by humans so long ago with limited information, limited resources, and it was still able to be made in this incredible way. There is nothing incredible about AI spitting out a movie and giving you any sort of feedback, any sort of help, any sort of way they use it as a tool. Of course, that's what we're seeing. The talking point nowadays is that AI is just a tool like any other, and that if you're not using AI, you'll be left behind. That's ridiculous. This movie has stayed in the cultural topics of films since it's been released for that reason alone, because it was so incredible and because it was made by humans. If you take away the human element of any aspect of this movie making magic, then it is not going to be the same. I don't care if that's post-production, I don't care if that's editing, I don't care if that's coming up with a concept for a movie, because you're not creative enough to make one yourself, then you don't get to make movies. If Stanley Kubrick couldn't have made this movie, then it would not exist and we would be none the wiser to the amazing things that could have happened if he was able to get this done. And that's really what I just kept feeling the entire time I was watching this. I was going, wow, I don't know how they possibly did this, and I don't even want to know until the movie's over. There's tons of behind the scenes movie making magic that you can find online of Stanley Kubrick. Of course, this is where the psychopaths that think that the moon landing was fake thought that Stanley Kubrick directed the fake moon landing, because he made this look so good. He even thought of what the Earth was going to look like before we got the first big, beautiful picture of the Earth. He dreamed it up and it basically looked the same, besides the fact that you can't see the continents on it. I mean, if that's not genius, I don't know what is. A camera marksman like Stanley Kubrick being able to figure out ways to make the zero gravity look real, to make the spacecrafts look otherworldly instead of just looking like planes with pointed tips and all these things. It was a trailblazing movie that was influential to the rest of sci-fi for the rest of history, all the way up until this moment. Some people still are referencing this movie in their movies that are made recently, i.e. Barbie, the opening scene. The opening scene of Barbie is a complete callback to the opening scene of 2001: A Space Odyssey in The Dawn of Man. That will never happen with a movie that is generated by AI, and that's why I say we must vote with our wallets. When we figure out things are made with AI, we must not support them anymore, and we must keep shoving down the throats of the executives that we want every single aspect of how AI was used, if it was, in a film, to be brought to light so that us, the people that like humans making our art, the one thing that we can still preserve from this AI garbage, we can actually say, this is not what we want to see. This investment will not be good for you. Do not put your face on this, because we will hate you for it for the rest of your life. And now, like I said, I know that the cat's out of the bag with AI and tech, in medicine, and in these different areas. There is nothing that you can do about AI. It's coming, it's going to take over a lot of different things. But you can say no to AI being involved in art by not consuming art that is made by bullshit computers. If you don't consume it, if the investments don't return the way that they were supposed to, then these studios will know that they have to keep making movies the human way, the way that we crave for them to be made. I've said it in a previous video, but I'll say it again here. The day that movies are all being made with some sort of AI generation tool in them will be the day that I stop watching new movies. I will not talk about them. I will not support them. If I find out that AI was used in any capacity at all in the terms of this movie making, then I will not watch the movie. And if I go and watch a movie and I find out that I've been duped, I will hate on that movie for the rest of my life after figuring out that it used AI. That's really all I have to say about 2001: A Space Odyssey. I thought this film was an easy 4.5 stars. It definitely was not the most action-packed film I've ever seen, but if you watch it for what it is, take in the incredible visuals, and just realize that you are watching one of the most important pieces of movie history, then I think that you will like that as well. I think that you will like it as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you love movies like me, and leave a comment and a like, and let me know what you want me to review next. Thank you guys very much. That's all I gotta say. Bye-bye now.